Given everything we have endured over the last 2 years, it is no surprise that the discussion over mental health has reached a fever pitch here lately. Here with an innovative new way to tackle life's ups and downs is Johnny Crowder, CEO of CopeNotes. Thanks for joining us.
Heck yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so first off, congratulations. You were named a Trailblazer this year here at ICMA. What does that mean to you?
I think it just means that I'm looking at a problem differently than other people are looking at it. When I think of a trailblazer, I think of someone who's not necessarily braver or more courageous or anything, just someone who's viewing the same problem from a different perspective and suggesting maybe an unconventional kind of solution.
And this is a problem that unfortunately has been around for a while. We're talking about mental health here. You came up with the idea for CopeNotes back in 2018. Where did that idea spark?
It was from trying to care for my own mental health. So I used to literally leave sticky notes for myself in my bathroom mirror and in like my sneakers that would have kind of perspective shifting statements or questions to make me challenge some of my prevailing negative thoughts. And I was dealing with pretty significant depression, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia, OCD, and through even leaving treatment, I was still being accosted by some of these unwanted thoughts. So it was my way of making sure that I was consistently challenging those thoughts. And eventually that led to a digital version that's much more scalable than like writing sticky notes.
And now it's like a digital sticky note that you can send to friends. Kind of explain what CopeNotes does.
So CopeNotes provides daily mental health support via text message, but the way you can think about it is it's like a guaranteed interruption to your day at a random time. And you never know what the text will say or when it will come in, but you do know that it will contain an exercise or a psychology fact, a journaling prompt, something to train your brain to think in healthier patterns over time.
Would you say that there is still a stigma around mental health?
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, I've been doing advocacy for 11 years and I hear people say like, oh, it's so nice to do advocacy now, I bet. And it's like they see one Taylor Swift tweet or something and they're like, oh, no more stigma. But it's very real, especially in professional settings, especially in school settings. And even within the home, there are children who don't want to talk to their parents about what they're going through, and vice versa. It's still very real.
There is a generational thing when it comes to there being a stigma. I think you're right. What would you say that you've come across that people tend to struggle with the most?
I'm going to answer this unconventionally because I'm tempted to say something like anxiety or depression because those are fairly common, but I'm more inclined to say self-stigma is what people struggle with the most, because more common than depression or anxiety is the mindset that I'm fine and I can get through this, and mental health isn't something that I deal with. That's something that my coworkers and my cousins deal with. So it's this idea that mental health only picks and chooses certain people to affect. I think that's more dangerous than depression or anxiety.
Lastly, you just wrapped up your speaking session here. What is your hope that people took away from your speech?
I hope that they took away that it's not something that is this, a lot of people view mental health as this vacuous, shapeless, confusing, complicated monster, and they don't want to touch it. And I hope that people left feeling that they are an agent of change, because everyone at this conference is in some position of power or influence. They're an agent of change in their community. And I hope that they left feeling less afraid of touching it or approaching it or thinking about it. And I hope that they left thinking like, I'm going to call a meeting with whoever I work with to see how we can prioritize it now, versus kicking the can down the road and hoping that you like term out and let it become someone else's problem.
Well, thank you for all that you're doing, and thank you for your time here this morning.
Heck yeah.